The questions do not have one right answer, but are intended to explore various dimensions of the text. 5. Expect God to teach you through the passage and through what others have to say. 6. Use the following guidelines and read them at the start of the first session. We will make the group a safe place by keeping confidential what is said in the group about personal matters. We will provide time for each person to talk who wants to. We will listen attentively to each other. We will talk about ourselves and our own situations, avoiding conversation about others. We will be cautious about giving advice to one another. John Stott had an immense impact on the church in the last half of the 20th century. With these volumes, readers today can continue to benefit from the riches of the Bible that Stott opened to millions. Introduction. Ever since I became a Christian, I have enjoyed a love-hate relationship with Romans because of its joyful, painful, personal challenges. It began soon after my conversion, with my longing to experience that death to sin which Romans chapter 6 seemed to promise. I toyed for many years with the fantasy that Christians are supposed to be as insensitive to sin as a corpse is to external stimuli. My final deliverance from this illusion was sealed when I gave a series of talks on Romans chapters 5 through 8. Next, Paul's devastating exposure of universal human sin and guilt in Romans chapter 1 verse 18 through chapter 3 verse 20 rescued me from that superficial evangelism which is preoccupied only with people's felt needs. Then there was Romans chapter 12 and its demand for our wholehearted commitment in response to God's mercies, and Romans chapter 13, whose teaching about the use of force in the administration of justice made it impossible for me to remain a total pacifist. As for Romans chapter 8, although I have declaimed its final triumphant verses at innumerable funerals, I have never lost the thrill of them. Paul, although a man of his age who addressed his contemporaries, also speaks to all people of every age. I have not been surprised to observe how many contemporary issues Paul touches on in Romans: enthusiasm for evangelism in general and the propriety of Jewish evangelism in particular, whether homosexual relationships are natural or unnatural, whether we can still believe in such unfashionable concepts as God's wrath and propitiation, the historicity of Adam's fall and the origin of human death, the fundamental means to living a holy life, the place of law and of the Spirit in Christian discipleship, the distinction between assurance and presumption, the relation between divine sovereignty and human responsibility in salvation, the tension between ethnic identity and the solidarity of the body of Christ, relations between church and state, the respective duties of the individual citizen and the body politic, and how to handle differences of opinion within the Christian community. And this list is only a sample of the modern questions which, directly or indirectly, Romans raises and addresses. Paul probably wrote the letter to the Romans from Corinth during the 3 months he spent in Greece. Acts chapter 20 verse 2. He mentions 3 places which he intends to visit: Jerusalem, Rome, and Spain. Paul thought of Rome being situated between Jerusalem and Spain as a place of refreshment after he had been to Jerusalem and a place of preparation en route for Spain. His visits to Jerusalem and Spain were of special significance to him because they expressed his 2 continuing commitments: to the welfare of Israel, Jerusalem, and to the Gentile mission, Spain. We still have to ask why Paul should write to the church in Rome. It was partly to prepare them for his visit. More than that, because he had not visited Rome before, and because most of the church members there were not known to him, he saw the need to establish his apostolic credentials by giving a full account of his gospel. With regard to his own situation, he sent them a 3-fold request: to pray that his service in Jerusalem would be acceptable, to help him on his way to Spain, and to receive him during his stopover in Rome as the apostle to the Gentiles. Paul's purposes in